I'm sure some of you out there have been battling with your allergies. This is allergy season. As you can see with my voice and my congestion, I have been battling with my annual allergies that I get this time every single year when there's pollen and, there's just growth in nature. So please excuse my nasally congested voice, but it is what it is. For those of you out there who go through allergies, you understand exactly what I'm going through. But we'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And it definitely will not stop me from continuing on my journey of healing, continuing on my journey of forgiveness. Now, I like to forgive someone that I spent many, many years with. We had a family together, and it is most definitely time on this beautiful day to forgive and release. I forgive you. Let me start off by saying, first and foremost, I forgive you for coming extremely close to destroying my life. I'm not sure when and how you turned into who you are, or maybe you've been like this all this time and I just couldn't see it. But I forgive you for attempting time and time again to destroy my life, because you most certainly have tried everything. I forgive you for it though. I forgive you for the domestic violence, me on crutches, the aches, the bruises. You see, I can go on and on with the horrible things that has taken place. Things that I've buried so you would not look like a monster. Things that haunt me. I forgive you. Now again, I wrote some things down so I can just speak on it and then release it and move forward. I forgive you for coming very, very close to destroying my life. I forgive you for the amount of effort you put forward to destroying my life. I forgive you for collaborating with my so-called family to destroy me, for putting something in my drink, for trying to contaminate me with a life-threatening situation, an uncurable situation. Now that was tough for me to forgive you for, especially because of how intentional it was. I forgive you for putting cameras around my house and exploiting me. I forgive you for videotaping you and I. No, it was no videotape of me with any random person. It was a videotape of me with you, someone I shared a life with. Unfortunately, you were sent in to try and take my life. As hard as it was for me to forgive you for turning my children against me, it took me all of this time, all of these months. But on this day, finally, I can forgive you for turning my kids against me. The kids that I raised. You destroyed my family. You knew that those kids were the only thing in this world that I loved unconditionally. You knew that they were the only ones that I would do anything for. I would have given my life for them. You knew that they were all I had. At one time you were part of our family, and you manipulated that position, and you came into our lives again. You manipulated everyone. You corrupted my whole family that I built on my own, I nurtured on my own, without you, all by myself. And in a matter of days, you shut down years of work, years of blood, sweat, and tears to create a family foundation that was solid, or so I thought. Shame on you for that. Even though I forgive you, shame on you. There is no one who knew how much my kids meant to me more than you. No one. There is no one who could have gotten close to my kids other than you, and you knew that. You knew besides me, you were the other one that they trusted, and you played on that. You manipulated them. You used them as pawns in some sick game that you're playing. You played on their weaknesses, and you destroyed my family. Just to do what? To make me be alone. Well, you have succeeded. So kudos to you. Round of applause, standing ovation for you. You have succeeded in tearing my family apart, ripping it from the foundation, and manipulating the only people on this planet that I had absolute, pure, unconditional love for. And it was intentional. Shame on you for that. Now that is something I will never forget. But at this time I do forgive. I can finally forgive you for destroying the only thing that meant everything to me. I'm sure you thought that was going to break me, because I've told everybody time and time again, there is only one thing you can do to destroy me, and that's to disrupt my family. That's to mess with my relationship with my kids. And you played on that. You used that against me. You used my love for my kids against me. And for what? For what? Satisfaction? Monetary gain? Well, I hope you are happy with yourself. I hope you can look in the mirror and smile. I hope you can. But you're forgiven, at least by me. There are a few things that I've held on to for quite some time that I've never forgiven you for, and I've resented you for. But at this time, I definitely want to forgive you for some things, so I can release those things out of my energy. You know, things like that woman that came to our door in Philly one day with a bag full of food, standing in front of me, telling me this food is for you and our kids. Now, that took everything in me to handle that situation with grace. There are not many women in this world that could withstand some strange woman at your door delivering food that she made for your husband and your children. But I forgive you for that. I forgive you for that. I forgive you for getting angry with me when you wanted me to be friends with all of your female co-workers at the hospital. Remember? I used to tell you I feel the attraction, and I'm not about to befriend anyone who wants to be with you. And you used to get so angry with me because I didn't want to go to their get-togethers and their parties, and you used to try your best to convince me that they are just friends. But yet, you married 2 of them and had kids with both of them. I forgive you for that. I should have listened to my intuition, and I'm glad that at least I listened to it enough to stay away from those women, regardless of all the arguments we've had. over me not wanting to befriend these women that you eventually married and had kids with. I forgive you for that lady who cussed me out on the phone when I answered your phone, you know, during the time that we were still married. Now granted, yes, we were separated. However, legally and technically, we were still married. And you came over to spend time with the kids. Well, and me, of course. But you allowed this woman to call me all kinds of names, call me all out of my name, disrespect me, and you took her side. I forgive you for that. I've never let anyone disrespect you, but I forgive you for that. I also forgive you for defaming my character. I'm not sure what type of time that you're on, but to blatantly defame my character with made up lies about me, switching the roles from the things that you've actually done and putting it onto me, now that's just low. You know how I've always felt as if you're going to tell a story, why not be honest about it? Why not take accountability for your part and let the other person take accountability for their part? Once you get to the point to where you have to make things up in lies just to make yourself look good, then your integrity is shot. If you're going to speak on our experiences, at least be honest about it. I even forgive you for hitting me in the stomach, and this is a throwback one that I have held on to for years. I forgive you for hitting me in the stomach with that Sprite bottle or that Sprite can when I was 8 months pregnant with the twins, when you went into a rage of fury because I caught you at the party snuggled up in a corner with some female, and you didn't know that I was going to show up, and you went into a rage, so you chucked that Sprite bottle at my stomach, remember, and I had to go to the hospital, and I had to sit there in front of our doctor and make up the lie that I fell, even though he kept looking at me weird. He knew I was not telling the truth. He knew I was making that up. But he wanted to make sure that the twins were okay, so he ran the test. But believe me, he did try to talk to me outside of your presence after that. But I forgive you for that, because that's something that I have resented you for quietly for a long, long time. I also forgive you for forcing me to get out the Navy, because we both know I did not want to get out the Navy. We both know I wanted to retire. But you were intimidated. Why? Because you always had to live in my house. You always had to drive my cars. You kept telling me that didn't make you feel like a man. You wanted to go back to Philly. You wanted me to be a stay-at-home wife, to be a stay-at-home mom. So to please you, that's exactly what I did. I trusted you. I got out. I moved to where you wanted me to move. We moved in with your parents. Then we moved out into some dark basement apartment. Then we moved back in with your parents. Then we moved back out into some rat-infested home on some ratchet block until I got fed up. And I made arrangements and packed everything and relocated to Georgia. I didn't want to live that life anymore. I didn't want to live in that area. I wanted better for our kids. You made me feel like I thought I was better than everyone just because I wanted better for our kids. just because I didn't want them going to a school with bars on the windows. I didn't want dealers on the corners of the playgrounds. I wanted them to go to a nice school, a beautiful school. I wanted them to be a part of sports. I wanted them to get into the band, be a part of clubs, ROTC. I wanted them to have friends, be able to take the bus back and forth, the school bus, like the rest of the kids, safely. I wanted them to grow up with fresh air and room to run around, not sit on some steps outside the house. I wanted better for them. You see, that's the life that Justin lived before we went to Philly. Us moving to Philly was our lowest time. And once I had to put my foot down, why? Because you were comfortable in that environment. You never wanted to leave Philly. Even though you kept losing jobs and putting us in situations to where we were struggling. In the same Navy that you wanted me to get out of, I had to go back in the Navy for us to make ends meet, for us to get back on track. And what happened? You've always tried to convince people that I thought that I was better than everyone else. But what mother doesn't want better for her kids? What mother doesn't put her foot down and say enough? You wanted the title of head of the household. However, you were not doing the right thing to solidify that title. I had to be the one to be the breadwinner in the family. That was me. You resented me for that, but I refuse to let the kids suffer. I refuse to be comfortable with us staying with people. We were a full family. It didn't sit right with me that we had to stay with anyone. We're two adults. We were supposed to have our own. But these things were okay with you. But they weren't okay with me. But you made me feel as if I was bougie because I wanted better for my kids. I wanted better for me. I wanted better for us. Even when I packed up everything and moved to Georgia, I begged you to come with us. But you said you needed 2 years to work and to save money. So once you move to Georgia, we can buy a home, right? And I believed you. Right up until you started dating during the time you were supposed to be working and saving money. And yes, I gave up. And you did that right away. Absolutely. I gave up on the thought of us. And I moved on. That's not something you can ever shame me for. Anybody in their right mind would have done that. You weren't interested in our kids being in the things like choirs and programs and the little police officer programs to become a police officer when you graduate. Again, clubs, ROTC, band. That was me. Those were the things I wanted for the kids. I wanted them in a safe environment. You weren't interested in that. And yes, I wanted to go to school. I wanted to get some degrees. I wanted to start my own business. But you brought all of us there because of your ego. Because you wanted to be the breadwinner. You wanted to be the head of household. So because I supported you in whatever it was you wanted to do, I gave it a shot. But I would never, not then, not ever, risk the survival of my kids, a better life for my kids, for us to struggle just for your ego. You were more interested in haircuts and name brand clothes and going to the bar. Those were priority for you. Not generational wealth, not trying to educate these kids, not trying to elevate and do better in life. You were more interested giving shout outs for other people that were doing better in life. Like Rosh. But for us, we were supposed to just sit in mediocrity and just get used to that and accept it. And you made me feel like crap because I refused to accept that for my kids and for myself. And yes, I absolutely moved. Yes, I absolutely divorced you. Yes, I went back to school. Yes, I got those degrees. Yes, I started my own business. Yes, I worked my tail off for years. And when we moved down there, absolutely. The apartment that my cousin picked out for us before I even came there and saw it, it wasn't up to my standard. But as always, I struggled and I saved up money, and every time I was in a position to do so, we moved to a new place, and it was always an upgrade. Because the kids needed to see that that's what life was about. Always upgrade. Always work for better. Always strive for better. They had to see that in order to believe it. And you were not willing to let them see that. But I was. Philly was holding our family back. And I was not willing to let our family drown just for the sake of you being comfortable in that environment. And maybe that's something you need to forgive me for. But that's up to you. I don't have any control over that. But that's not something that I apologize for. So I forgive you for even convincing me to get out of the Navy. Because had I retired, things would be totally different for me at this point. But I forgive you because there's never just one path to elevation. And so I just take a different route. I forgive you for the physical abuse. I forgive you for the emotional abuse. I forgive you for the mental abuse. I forgive you for all of the infidelities, the many, many, many affairs you've had. I forgive you for that. So yes, I forgive you. You know what? I'll even close it out because I can go on and on and on. But the majority of those things are not even important at this time. I forgive you for trying to rewrite our history to suit some fictitious narrative that you need to place yourself in a better light. I forgive you for that. The only question is though, why speak on me at all if I'm anywhere close to the picture that you paint of me? Why not just, out of sight, out of mind me? What's the point with all the slander and defamation? Why? What's the point? Did you want us to go back and forth making fools of ourselves? Two adults? Performing? Is that what you were looking for? Oh no, that's most definitely something you will never get from me. And I even forgive you for not accepting that I am a better version of myself. That may not be something that you can accept, but it is the facts. I am a better version of what you remember. Even though what you remember is not what you speak of, that's fine. But I'm still a better version. But you know what? On this beautiful, beautiful day, not only do I forgive you, I 100% completely and totally release you. I release you from my life. I release you from my energy. I release you from my memories. I fully and completely release you from my existence. It's not that you're dead to me, because that's pretty harsh actually. You just don't exist to me. From this day forward, and I say this with a smile on my face, and especially once I change my last name, because you've done so much harm, I'm quite sure that spiritually you have cursed your lineage from all the harm that you've done. And I most certainly do not want to carry your last name anymore. But from this day forward, and I say this wholeheartedly from the depths of my soul, you do not exist to me. For ripping my kids from me, the only people on this planet that I loved more than anything in this world. I do finally forgive you for that. However, there will never be any apology that could undo all the things that you've done to attempt to destroy my life. May the Most High have mercy on your dark soul, because after all the things you've done and still doing, you will certainly need the Most High's mercy. I forgive you for the things known and the things unknown. I forgive you, and I fully and completely release you.